Hi friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's video, I decided that I want to share with you guys why it is that I've gotten into women's health, what happened in my story, what happened in my life, what led me towards natural healing and using that as a method to heal myself as well as my clients. And so I just kind of wanted to share with you guys my background, my story. And if you have taken my online classes before, you most likely already know what my story is, but you can still stick around if you'd like. So pretty much what happened was, ever since I can remember, so when I was 12, I got my period, and ever since I can remember after that, my cycle has always been very irregular and like insanely painful. So I'm talking cramps that are actually like debilitating for me. I wouldn't be able to stand up, like I had to actually I had to bend over as I'm walking around, and I would have like really bad experiences where I would throw up or faint, and so it's always been very, very, very difficult and challenging for me, extremely painful. And so what ended up happening was that when I reached, I think it was a little bit before I got married, I decided to look for help to be able to figure out what's going on with my cramps, how I can do something about them. And so what I decided to do was what I thought was best and what I knew everyone does. And so I went to my doctor and I asked for help, and I just explained, like, I sometimes will have my period, sometimes I'll go months in a row without having one. And so I just explained my issue, and what was offered to me was to take the birth control pill, and in hopes that would help regulate my periods and relieve the pain as well. So I started to take the birth control pill, and I took it for, I think it was about a year. And then what happened with that was I thought that if you forget to take a few of the pills, that what you're supposed to do is just take the ones that you forgot. And so I think my husband and I were traveling or something like that, and I forgot to take a few. And so I took a few, and then it ended up that I got my period, and it just stayed for an entire month. So I was actually bleeding for like an entire month. So around week 3 of bleeding like that, or week 2, I think it was, I called the doctor and I just explained what was happening, and they told me, well, just stop taking the pill and wait until your body like adjusts a bit and stops bleeding, and then after that start taking the pill again. So I was like, okay, I'll just do that. So I stopped taking the pill, and what happened was, with all of that happening and with me feeling like so weird that I was bleeding for so long, I just decided, like, I don't feel comfortable taking a pill. And it was just a teeny tiny pill, but I felt so weird that something so small was actually able to adjust things in my body to where I was actually experiencing like bleeding for so long, for the 4 weeks or like the entire month. And so I just decided that after I got off of it, I just wasn't going to take it anymore. And I felt comfortable with my decision with that. And then a few months later, it just happened that my husband and I were done traveling. Thankfully, we were able to do tons of amazing travels before having our son. Before having our son. And so we were able to travel through Europe for 3 months, and then we came back home, and we were home for about a month or so. And then after that, we went to Thailand, which is my husband's father is from Thailand, so we got to experience Thailand, and that was absolutely amazing. And so around that time, we realized, like, okay, we've done what we wanted to do. We just really wanted to be able to travel before having a baby. And so it came to us that we just felt really passionate and ready to become parents. And so unfortunately, though, my cycle went back to its old ways. It was very irregular. I wouldn't have it for a long time, and I would feel like it's about to come any minute. But and so I was feeling like all of these symptoms of PMS, but I just wasn't getting my period. And if I wasn't getting my period, my body was just on a messed up cycle, which also meant that I was dealing with like fertility issues. I wasn't able to conceive as soon as I thought I would be able to. So it went on like that for months and months, and I finally got to the point where I was like, so rewind. I grew up in a household where my dad is an herbalist and my mom is very natural in her approach with health as well. And so I knew like my parents would use herbs, they would use essential oils. My mom had home births. So it was a very natural health environment, but I never really took that into my own hands for myself until that point. I finally got tired of it and I was like, you know what, I just need some help. So I sat down with my mom and dad and I was like, please, I beg you, tell me what to eat. Tell me what herbs to take. Tell me what to drink. I don't care if it's bitter or gross. I will do anything. And so I just got to that point where I was just ready to do something for myself in my health and take the more natural approach. So I asked my mom and dad, and my dad suggested some herbs, an herbal blend that he actually made to help with balancing hormones and things like that. And then my mom told me that I should do a juice fast. So while doing those types of things, I think my mom told me I should do a 3-day juice fast. And by the time I was on day 2.5 of that 3-day juice fast, my period came. And I was so surprised that just kind of letting my body cleanse, it was what I needed. It was what my body needed. And so I just felt like, okay, this is working and I need to stick with it. And I was really surprised that it just took that small amount of time. And I'm not saying that it's the same for everyone, but that's what happened for me. And then I started to realize, well, I wonder if it is that my body just really needed to detox. So what I did was I started to search about some side effects that women may have from taking the pill. And a lot of women had articles online talking about how taking the pill actually caused a lot of issues for them in their fertility and in being able to conceive, and that they actually had to detox the pill out of their system. So I really tried to focus on this to support myself as much as possible holistically. So diet, like my nutrition, relaxation, all types of things like that, focusing on getting better sleep, all of those types of things. I tried to basically balance everything and take my health into my own hands. And then a few months later, I woke up one morning and was like, you know what? Let me try a pregnancy test. Peed on the stick, and guess what? I was pregnant. I was so grateful, and I can't tell you how I feel so emotional just thinking about it, because it was month after month, like just praying and praying to be able to finally have a baby. And for people who have dealt with infertility, it is so painful, like going to the store every single month, buying a pregnancy test, waiting until the day you can finally take the pregnancy test, and then seeing that it's negative month after month. It was just so, like, it was so sad for me. It was really painful, because I just had this deep desire in my heart to become a mother. Along that time, we got a cat to try to kind of fill that space as well, but I just really wanted to become a mom. So I ended up finding out that we were expecting, and I was just so excited. And so that whole entire time, that whole period of all of that, of, like trying to regulate my cycle, trying to conceive and all of that, took about a year. And so throughout that whole experience of me figuring out what I needed to do for my own health and all of that, I started to feel really inspired to do the same thing for my pregnancy. So I was like, okay, I really want to try to do everything as natural as possible in my pregnancy. I want to make sure I'm supporting myself. And so while I was searching about that and figuring out how to take good care of myself throughout the pregnancy, I started to become more interested in what I would do after having the baby as well. So my postpartum period, my postpartum healing time. And so in that, I was able to meet so many amazing women who helped me figure out how to have herbs ready for myself to drink, ready to have herbs ready to wash myself with after having the baby, to have an environment that was going to be supportive to us, how to prepare foods and a team of support to be able to take care of me after having our baby. And so along that time as well, I decided to plan to have a home birth, and so I decided to do everything as natural as I possibly could. And so with looking into figuring out how to regulate my cycle before becoming pregnant, figuring out how to take care of myself during pregnancy, figuring out how to take care of myself and the baby after having the baby, after birth, all of that ended up triggering something within me that really lit like a passion in me somehow, where I just felt really like driven to learn more about women's health, to get an education in natural healing, and to be able to help myself and other women through that as well. So I became an Ayurvedic practitioner, and then about a year ago I became a vaginal steam facilitator. So in my approach with healing, I understand that we basically need to create the space within ourselves, within our lifestyle, to receive healing, and that is a holistic approach. So we need to take care of ourselves in all different levels, in so many different ways. And so it was an amazing experience for me to be able to study these different types of sciences, and to figure out how women can be healed and heal themselves. And that has really been super transformative for me. Like, being able to witness my own healing was so life-changing, and then now being able to witness other women as they take their health into their own hands and support themselves and witness their own healing, it has been so powerful. And I'm so grateful that this is where my journey has led me. And I'm really grateful because I have asked for help. I've prayed to be able to find something that I'm passionate about, because after high school, at least, like, I don't know, for me, it was a thing that once you're out of high school, you need to figure out what you're going to do for college, and you get your degree and you work in that field. And I struggled so much with that because I just didn't have a passion towards anything. Like, I tried to look into becoming a nurse. I tried to look into physical therapy, massage therapy, all different types of things. I even became a dental assistant. I was going to go into to become a dental hygienist. I tried really hard. I went to college for a while, but I just didn't feel passionate or driven to do any of those types of things. And I'm so grateful that I have been led to women's health and Ayurveda and natural healing. And so that's basically my story. That is like the majority of what has happened in order for me to be where I am now. And in my next video, I really want to share with you guys what has happened with my cycle after having a baby, because I was very worried about that, like if my cycle would go back to being so painful, and with now having a baby to take care of. So keep an eye out for that video. It'll be posted on Friday. Take good care. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram account is sabrina.womb, W-O-M-B. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!